Good afternoon. Good. My screen. Good afternoon, everybody. It's James the Weatherman here, back with another live stream. This is going to be an in depth live stream. I just noticed. Notice. I hope everybody's doing good today. We are going to talk in depth about Hurricane Ida and where it's going to go. And I think it's to stay on the eastern side of Louisiana. Uh, Possibly a direct hit on the metropolitan area of New Orleans. But as you can see here, the cone, if it goes on the east side of the cone, it could affect the Mississippi, more of the Mississippi. If it goes to the west side of the cone, it could affect Lake Charles, all the way up to Alexandria, Arkansas, into Tennessee, even Missouri, if it goes to the west. These guys, National Hurricane, the forecasted track, you can see that it's kind of just in between Lafayette and New Orleans. Kind of favoring, because it's on that north side, kind of favoring that New Orleans area. And as we can see earlier, when the storm was brewing down here, they thought I was going to hit the Yucatan Peninsula, but the low it was tilted, so it kind of shifted further north, as you can see. So I have a feeling it's going to have about it's going to stay on that east side of this cone. I have a feeling. So New Orleans is going to be, I think, affected by this. But all of Louisiana is going to get rain. All of Mississippi, Alabama, even Florida is going to get rain. We're going to talk all about that. Like my whole stream is going to be informational. Like tons of information. Tons. Okay, so hang on. I'm going to say hi to each and every one of you. Hey, Heather. Hey, Beckinator. Hey, Jay. Hey, Crispy. Hey, Keith. Hey, East Tennessee Patriot. I hope you guys are. Hey, Wyatt. I just noticed you. I hope all of you guys, make sure you guys hit that like button. That gets YouTube algorithm up. But let's get this started. As you can see, at 8 a.m. Sunday, National Hurricane Center has said that this is likely going to be a major hurricane. I think it's going to be between Saturday and Sunday, like Saturday nights. When it gets over Cuba, I know if you guys watched my video, I was going to do a live stream once it gets over Cuba. But we already got a strengthening hurricane before it even hits Cuba. And it's currently the northern end is already going over Cuba. But like I said, this is an informational stream. We'll start out with we're going to start out with the anomaly from the SST. You can see the neutral. It's higher than neutral. This is the Gulf of Mexico. So that favors of an intensifying hurricane, or intensifying any tropical cyclone, intensifying. We can look at the temperatures of the sea surface in the western Atlantic. Currently, it is just south of the western part of Cuba. That is 30 degrees Celsius. It's going to be going over 30, 31, 32 degrees Celsius. Very, very warm water. Very warm water. Here is the sea surface anomaly for, I think this is the 4-7. Nope, this one. Currently, as you can see, it's cooler waters down to the south. That's not affecting it at all. I'll show, once we get into the infrared, I'll show you some of the satellite information. Um, Here is the anomalies for past 7 days. The blue is below normal, and the yellow is above normal. So if people tell you, hey, the Gulf of Mexico is, parts of it is, or all of it is above average, they're not telling, they're not giving you the whole information. It is very warm. The Gulf Stream has been just passing the Gulf like I have a feeling it's going it's warm. The Gulf of Mexico is warm. So as we already kind of looked at the cone from the National Hurricane Center, they have hurricane currently 8 p.m. Friday, would be Eastern Daylight Time, would be on approaching the southern part of Cuba. This is what the intensity guidance for Hurricane Ida. A lot of them this morning was showing Cat 3, but we're kind of getting, there is actually a few models that are picking up that haven't been doing a lot of intensity guidance this year. As you can see, the RI-40, this is their first intensity guidance this year. And same with RI-35. But most of them, I'm surprised that the H-Wharf is, they're usually they're higher up than what really gonna happen, but they're lower. They're right at that high Cat 3, making that. But there's a few that are up in that Cat 4. Even there's one approaching high Cat 4. But winds are gonna be there's a couple big weather enthusiasts, and like I'm talking big, like million people know who they are, like big. Even Reed Timmer, I think he said this. Adam Lucio, he said this. It may not be a Cat 4 or a Cat 5. It may just be a Cat 3, but the winds and the water is gonna be, you're gonna be able to feel it. It's gonna be up there. It's not coming in as a weak storm. But I can't tell you if it's gonna be a Cat 3, Cat 4, Cat 5, Cat 2. I cannot tell you until it gets over the and even when it gets over Cuba, it could there's low shear, so I don't see anything really going to be affecting the storm. But anything can happen. But as of right now, I would say Cat 3 is likely. Let's go to the hurricane model track and guidance. As you see, Crispy did say that most of the models are showing between Lafayette and New Orleans, like what's been happening. It's on the north end. I wouldn't surprise me if it stays on track to New Orleans in the metropolitan area. We'll go back through this info in probably like 30 minutes. I'll do the same thing for the new people that come in, but trying to get through this info as quick as possible. This, we will do that later. This one. So forecast wind from the New Orleans Baton Rouge Weather Forecast Office. This is the wind threat. Purple is basically widespread, a good chunk of this area is going to be strong winds, Cat 3, Cat 4, strong winds. And it's going to be beginning Sunday through Monday. And expecting to deliver wide swath of life-threatening damaging winds, and this is going to cause a lot of storm surge. The they have hurricane. They have walls up in from Katrina. So is that going to stop some of the stuff? What's going to happen when it gets over the Cuba is what I'm kind of focusing on. Like I said, I'm not the, I. If any person tells you that, oh, from now I can see a Cat 3 or a Cat 4 or a Cat 5 or a Cat 2, they nobody can say that. Not even the National Hurricane Center. They looked at this, and that cone is what they estimate. What they estimate it's going to be. But it could change. Forecast for flooding. Red area is basically 8 to 12 inches in the red area, and that's including New Orleans, Baton Rouge. So, like I said, metropolitan area for New Orleans. It's gonna be they have it confined to just a tight area for southeastern Louisiana. This will be west of Lafayette. This 8 to 12 to 14 inches of rain is going to be west of Lafayette, and it could even go further into Mississippi. Because on the north end, it's been stronger, and that's the reason why it's going over Cuba. Before it was supposed to go to the Yucatan Peninsula, but that tilt got overrun, and now on the northern end is what's the strongest. And we'll look at that, and I'll show you examples of it. Storm surge, you see the purple. That's likely going to be 7 to 11 feet, if not more. And red is about 4 to 7 feet. Orange is 3 to 5 feet. Orange is in that Baton Rouge area. 2 to 4 feet for the yellow. Tornado threat with Ida. There's going to be isolated tornadoes across southeastern Louisiana and southern Mississippi. As you can see, there will be short-lived, fast-moving tornadoes. So please stay tuned to your National Weather Service. YouTubers can only do so much. Anybody on social media can only do so much. National Hurricane Center, you need to follow National Hurricane Center. So a lot of people already know. Nobody's out there that doesn't know this. Okay, so I shouldn't have to explain it, and I'm only explain it once. Because if you don't know this, then why are you living in the Gulf and on the coast where hurricanes can hit you? But disaster supply kit, 3 to 5 day supply of food and water. That's every person in the house. You should have at least 3 to 5 supply of food and water. And battery powered radio, all this fun stuff. First aid kit, everything that you use in a daily life, you need to bring, and you need to bring some tools, as you can see on here, to turn off utilities, and cash, a big thing that you're gonna need, because my suggestion is if you're in New Orleans or Baton Rouge, even as far as Lafayette's a little bit to the west, but once it gets over Cuba, if it's on that northern side or the eastern side or the western side, we'll know for sure. But for sure, New Orleans, I'd be listening to your National Weather Service. I'd be listening to your emergency governments telling you, hey, you need to get out. Like, you need to find an alternative place to stay for the next week at least. Because once this comes in, it's not. It may push through real quick over 24 hours, but there's still going to be some. Angie, welcome. I don't think I've ever seen you on my stream. Welcome. This stream is for you, Angie. If you haven't joined Discord, but let's get back to this. I'll do all that stuff later. I would just like I was talking earlier. Hurricanes affect inland quite a way, and it's going to be a lot of water, a lot of wind, many miles in. The storm surge is only going to be really affecting that coastline, but going in, it's going to affect a lot of areas because you got Baton Rouge, and then it's going to connect, and how far it's going to go in, I don't know, 7 to 11 plus feet of water going going into land. You times that by like about 5, and you got several miles plus constant wind. Then add that onto it, and then you got 100 miles of water being pushed and wind being pushed. So this system, this tropical cyclone is not something to mess with. Situation overview. We already talked. Tropical storm watches remain in effect for southern portions of southeast Mississippi and coastal Alabama. Storm surge watch is also in effect for Alabama coast, including Mobile Bay. And then the rest is hurricane watch. So remember, do not focus on the exact tracks. Impacts can occur well outside the area enclosed by the cone. My earlier video today and the video on TikTok, Florida's gonna get rain. Don't doubt that. Texas will likely get rain. But I can tell you, the core is likely going to be in between, as of right now, Lafayette and New Orleans. So if you're in those areas, you need to pack up and be ready to go. Yeah, it's gonna speed up, but that's a bad thing, because once it gets booking, then we're talking a lot more water coming ashore. It's just, and we don't have many cameras down there. I'm sure there's going to be some people that are going to stream it down there, but I won't be showing that on live stream. That's I can put it in Discord, because even if I get permission, that's not my content, and I'm not. I've changed from last year. I don't want to take other people's content. Now, if they're public cameras, I'll use them, because that's what public cameras are for people to use them. Okay, let's get into you guys. If you guys are just tuning in, I basically discussed the Gulf of Mexico anomalies, temperatures, sea surface temperatures, 7-day cone, intensity guidance. Angie, are you on my Discord? Yeah, they're traffic cams. Join the Discord. Do you have Discord, Angie? Oh wait, email if you don't mind, email all your footage to James the Weatherman at gmail.com. If you don't mind. Yeah, those chasers, I'm not gonna use their because that's their content. This is at Sunday night, about 6, 7 p.m. And this is 60 hours out. So you gotta remember that. You're you're in the that chat. Sec. Oh, I found you. There, Angie. You can check out your Facebook real quick. The city of New Orleans has issued both voluntary and mandatory evacuations for the parish in and outside of levee protection. Somebody said Katrina. It's supposed to hit the same day as Katrina. Angie, did you check your Facebook? Yeah, exactly. If you're gonna evacuate, don't wait for the last minute. Yeah. I don't see. Okay. You just message me on there. What do I think about Alexandria? Uh, well, until it gets over Cuba, if it's going to be on the eastern side of the thing, it's Alexandria is going to get rain. And tropical storm will likely affect Alexandria. Won't be a hurricane. So this is currently infrared. Let's look at the water vapor. And you see there's not much shear. Basically all solid. This is going to be out of here. This little mess right here is going to be out of here. And then it's just going to fully blast to the northwest. Once this junk gets out of here, that's close to Louisiana right now. Once that gets out of there, it's going to be a full force. Like somebody says, it's just going to be a full force, not stopping. Oh, okay. Oh, that sounds good. Yeah, just are you subscribed to my YouTube? I will likely be doing a live stream Sunday if I'm next to the computer. And if you guys have cams, send links to send links. Yeah, well, these storms right up here, these are going to be gone. You want to buy Louisiana right now? These storms will be sucked into this storm. I could see eye wall starting to form right after Cuba. I could see by early morning tomorrow, I could see it already being a Cat 2. But lower Florida might even be getting rain right now. So let's go look at these. Look at Western Atlantic. We will look at this one. And how far is this back? This shows Canadian full perimeter of H wharf. How far can we go back? Okay. Here, this is 7 p.m. yesterday. You could see some rotation. Kind of, this is there was a tropical wave. You can't even see my mouse, so it's really kind of um, tropical wave from Central America, kind of going all the way up to central Cuba. You can see this low 990 low, um, and it really didn't have a. It was tilted, so it wasn't organized as much it is now. It has intensified really. This is H warp, so if we could look at current, didn't really intensify until earlier today. Currently, it's already a Cat 1, Crispy. Sorry, a hurricane. It won't be a Cat 2 before it goes over Cuba. I don't think. They have analysis on here. No, it's currently 987. Yeah, that I would I would suggest leaving. The 11 Thursday. This was southwest of Negril, Jamaica. We can look at models all day, and GFS will be different than what it was, what really happened. So I wonder if what National Weather Service. What are you talking about? All Central Louisiana. Oh, Alexandria's in a tropical storm watch. What's gonna happen with you is what? See, Crispy. Oh, these are all the. Well, this is good to know. Um, what county are you guys all in? If you're in Louisiana, what county are you in? Are these Tampa Parish? Yeah, these aren't. I was just gonna say these aren't parishes. These are. Oh, this is from Mississippi. What are they doing? This is Mississippi. I didn't even realize that it was Mississippi. So let's see. Learn more. They don't. They don't issue much. If you go to shelters, remember that. Remember your stuff. Remember that you have to. I'm sure wear a mask. Do all that fun stuff. They don't really. They don't really have have much information. I know I seen FEMA. I know I seen FEMA, a post from FEMA. I can't remember where I seen it though. I know they were sending stuff down there. Many roads, bridge closures with some weakened or washed out. Yeah, so in my Discord, yeah, I seen, yeah, I seen that. You live kind of close to the Mississippi border. Yeah, I did see that. So, like I said, this was basically an informational stream. Um, So this is the ensemble. Change it to the Gulf. So the European is showing 965 is the lowest. No, 947. 940. Wouldn't that be like a cat's? Yeah, I seen it. Cat 4? At least a cat 3. Yeah, no, it's just no dry air, nothing. Now, there's a lot of people going out there. I'm sure you can find one. This is probably pretty accurate. The low is probably right over that island. Next update is I think at 5. Yeah, 5 p.m. And let's see, aircraft currently in progress. Yeah, it's 5 p.m. Eastern. 987. Yeah, this is currently going into. So we can talk a little bit about what we talked about at the beginning of the stream. Uh, the anomalies, talking that it's above normal or it's above neutral. Neutral is this line. Is the temperatures This is the sea surface temperatures. You can see it gets warmer and warmer when you get to the coast. So that's going to help it intensify. 7-day change. This is the current National Hurricane cone. So you see right above this little island, right here, you see that convection. You can see the convection burst. The low is right below it. The low would be right here. So it's off. The low is off the island, and that convection's likely gonna. What's gonna happen is the convection that's happening, these thunderstorms, they're gonna intensify and then they're gonna fall. Yeah, I know you can't see my mouse. You see it now? Well, just know that smaller island south of Cuba is it's just off that island. Maybe I can show you. See that little convection? It's darker than the white. And then there's convection to the east of it. Those are going to drop. They're going to collapse. And then it's going to regather, and then it'll collapse again until it really gets into the cycle where it wants to consolidate the low, and that's when an eye wall is made. And that will likely be on the other side of Cuba. And I can guarantee you that there will be probably 5 eye wall replacements going over the Gulf of Mexico. That's not good because that means it's intensifying. Hopefully, it's only a couple. Hopefully, it's only a couple, but you know, So if I had to, thank you for subscribing, Corey. If I had to say, hey, I don't know what I'm gonna have to say for people to leave. Okay? I don't know if I have to say, if you stayed for Katrina, you shouldn't stay for here. That 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 probably doesn't help. If you, I I can I can tell you. This is what I can tell you. Okay, I can tell you that I suggest, James the Weatherman suggests that you should evacuate tonight or tomorrow morning. Don't wait till tomorrow afternoon. Don't wait until tomorrow afternoon. It's either tonight. Pack up your stuff. Get all that supplies. Here, I'll bring up the. This common knowledge. Grab all this stuff and um and then get out of there tomorrow. Don't wait till tomorrow afternoon. Jay, yeah, you will get hit by a tropical storm. That is very possible. Depends how many times the lovely eye wall decides to man, you can see it. So you can see right here how the low is on the southern part of that island, and then it collapse, and right now it's staying on that northern end, so the eastern part of that cone put a pretty safe to stay with that cone, but until it gets over Cuba, it very well. I don't think it's gonna push much further west. There's oh yeah, do I have that on? Oh yeah, I'll fix that. I forgot I had that on. Anybody that's not, I suggest you to subscribe, but you don't have to subscribe. Um, but you can type. Should be able to type now. I can only do so much. I can say I can show you, but the likelihood of it going any further west is very unlikely. So I don't. You're gonna get. There's gonna be rain in Texas. There's gonna be rain in Florida. They're already likely receiving rain. Um, but the center of the eye, the eye of Hurricane Ida, will not go out of this cone. It'll either be on the eastern edge of this cone or the western edge, and the likelihood on the western edge is very slim. I yeah, Jay, I said Hurricane Ida will. If you can see, Alexandria is in like central Louisiana. Hurricane Ida will become tropical storm Ida, and it will be going over um, Alexandria. Oh, it's not even a question about how strong it is. This He's gonna get a tropical storm, 100%. There's no doubt about it. He's gonna get tropical storm force winds. Let's see how far the tropical storm force winds. Look how wide that is. How will the water temps be in Central Gulf? Right around 86, 87 degrees Fahrenheit. Could be some areas could get up into the 90s. But not the whole Gulf is not in the 90s. Okay, let's find that. So over here is 86. So 30 degrees Celsius is 86 degrees. 86.5 or something like that. 31 is 80, I think 88. If I'm calculating it right, 88. And then 32 is like 90. And there's only one spot that it's 32, and that's south of Lake Charles. So it's going to be around 86 to 89. And once it goes through this, it's the water is just going to cool down. So any storm that plans on trying to follow this is going to lose the juice. Any big storms, it's just going to suck that warm water out of it. Probably it wouldn't surprise me if it all dropped down to 30, 29. But it won't be long because that Gulf Stream is continuing to bring warm water or warm moisture that warms up the water. Like I said again, um, I just seen a picture. Just seen a picture. People are putting tarps over their houses and putting big straps down. Worth a try. I don't know if that house is east to west or north to south. And I think the governor of Louisiana. See, we should have a. Oh, 4:30 now. He switched it from 3:30 to 4:30. Yeah, there was only a looked like a tarp on his door, but he strapped the roof down with straps. No, if you're if you're legitimately 75 miles in, wait, what's this? Oh, when was this?
Colin Arnold, our Director of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness. I have, as you can see, Chief Ferguson, who is with us, New Orleans Police Department, Tyrell Morris, who is our Director of OPCD, Orleans Parish Communications District, very important. Dr. Jennifer Vegno, who leads our Health Department. We have Gassan Corbin, who is our Executive Director of the Sewerage and Water Board, and also joining us is Kelly Chandler, our Regional Director for our Flood Protection Authority East. So this morning, what we're going to do, and as you all know, I know that you've been watching, but the bottom line is, and the greatest takeaway is that we do have a major storm heading our way. We are activating every single resource at our disposal so that we are prepared to respond. You know, we plan for this all year long. We plan for this and we communicate effectively with the residents of the city of New Orleans. And so at this time, we were briefed by the National Weather Service. This remains a very fluid situation, as most of these do, but very fluid. But we must and we will start seeing winds, as I'm told, as early as tomorrow night. Landfall is expected sometime on Sunday with heavy rains as well as an impact overnight into Monday morning. Again, a very fluid situation, but we'll continue to monitor. The earliest reasonable time is late Saturday night. Preparations, as you should know, should be completed by this time frame. Again, your preparations completed by tomorrow afternoon. Later today, and really I've already signed the declaration in terms of making sure that this is, and we have in place the declaration of emergency, which will be filed with the courts by our city attorney, Miss Sunny LaBeouf. Prior to this, I've rendered my signature already. At this time, I will be, and I am calling for mandatory evacuation of all areas outside of our levee protection system. All areas outside of our levee protection system. Definitely mandatory evacuation. If you have any medical needs or wish to voluntarily evacuate on your own, now is the time to start that. Voluntary evacuation. Now is the time to start. We know that threat levels may increase as confidence in the forecast continues to intensify. So we'll continue to monitor. We understand it's still fluid, but this is the time to take action. Lower lining areas outside of the protection system, mandatory evacuation. Voluntary evacuation for all others. The storm surge watch remains in effect for all of our coastal areas of southeast Louisiana as well as the coast of Mississippi. The good news, too, for us is that the Mississippi River is at a low of 4 feet. We're maintaining frequent contact with all of our local stakeholders as well as our authorities. I had a conversation with our governor earlier this morning, and of course, he stands ready to assist our city in any capacity that is needed. But that constant level of communication is happening, as well as with my parish presidents across our area, staying in contact. We started, as we always do, well into yesterday, even into the night, and early into this morning. Some news that we just received not too long ago, a little bit prior to 10 a.m., is that our Saints game that was scheduled for Saturday has now been pushed up to 12 noon. So this puts added strain, of course, on the New Orleans Police Department, but we're confident that we're going to work through it. And what I mean by that specifically is that we do have a large funeral planned for Saturday, that being Detective Briscoe, which is now along the same time frame of the Saints game. However, the chief is in constant communication. He will do whatever's necessary, but at the same time, we have to ensure that our officers, all of our public safety officials and our teams can take care of their families so that they can immediately pivot to taking care of you, the city of New Orleans. The parking lot in our city, we've suspended any vehicles that are not city vehicles. So as we would normally open up and ask or pretty much provide access to our parking lots to those who are attending the Saints game, unfortunately, that has been suspended because we do have to take care of city vehicles in a timely
Pamela?
manner, again, for us to be able to respond.
Hello?
Terry Ebert, who is our Director of Public Safety and Homeland Security for the City of New Orleans, Colin Arnold, our Director of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness. I have, as you can see, Chief Ferguson, who is with us, New Orleans Police Department, Tyrell Morris, who is our Director of OPCD, Orleans Parish Communications District, very important. Dr. Jennifer Vegno, who leads our Health Department. We have Gassan Corbin, who is our Executive Director of the Sewerage and Water Board, and also joining us, as always do,
heavy rain in excess of 10 inches that could, and now that's over a day or two, could cause significant street flooding. And obviously our storm surge is a concern outside of our levee system, which, right now projecting 7 to 11 feet. Again, that's outside levee protection, which necessitated that mandatory evacuation the mayor just spoke of, outside levee protection. We have a hurricane storm surge and flash flooding watches up right now. They came up last night. That's the 36-hour mark. You can anticipate warnings coming out at the 24-hour mark, which should be this afternoon. For these reasons, we're making the following announcements. As the mayor mentioned, we're calling for a mandatory evacuation of areas outside of the hurricane storm damage risk reduction system, the levee system. That includes Lake Catherine, Irish Bayou, Venetian Isles. These residents are very familiar with the weather and familiar with these situations. We know that should start now because, as you'll hear from Regional Director Chandler, with our Flood Protection Authority, great partner, the Highway 90 and Highway 11 floodgates will close at some point tomorrow afternoon. We do this because 1, 7 to 11 feet is significant, and 2, it becomes increasingly difficult to move in and out that area, of those areas, once those floodgates are closed. You still have access through St. Tammany Parish, but it does make it more difficult. So be safe if you're living outside of levee protection in Orleans Parish. Again, the mayor mentioned all evacuations are voluntary. We do have a voluntary evacuation for Orleans Parish inside the levee system. Dangerous winds and rain pose a significant threat inside the levee system as far as street flooding, but mainly power outages. We believe, as we saw from Zeta last year, we will have significant power outages. If you are elderly, if you are dependent on power, if you have medical conditions that dictate it, If that evacuating is your best choice, you need to take that responsibility seriously and start now. Should this strengthen further, we'll address that. Parking on neutral grounds and sidewalks will be allowed tomorrow starting at noon. I would pay attention today because we were under a flood advisory earlier today just for normal rain. And what I would say about that is when we are on the east side of a storm, don't focus on the storm itself. We will get those bands before, leading up to the storm coming ashore, and we will have bands coming in after. So Monday is still in play as well as far as gusty winds, not hurricane force winds, but gusty winds and potentially heavy amounts of rain. So we're certainly on the wetter side of this storm, and we need to pay attention to that. I want to be clear that we are really focusing on this storm's intensity, which is the most difficult thing the Weather Service will tell you to predict. It's very difficult to predict. We're at a tropical storm right now. We know that potentially.
So you see how they say? You see how they say predict? You can't forecast the storm. It's all prediction. Weather is. There's some people that don't. You cannot forecast a hurricane. You cannot. You cannot forecast. There's a lot of things you cannot forecast. The things that you can forecast is like temperatures. Can't forecast severe weather. It's just it happens where it happens. No one will know. Like in my area, okay, they can say the whole state of North Dakota is going to get widespread rain and thunderstorms, but they can't pinpoint and say Devil's Lake is going to get 7 inches because there's going to be a heavy storm that goes over. They can't forecast that. They can't even predict it. But they can have a rough estimate that, hey, there might be a storm that produces around Devil's Lake. So here, National Weather Service, FEMA, Emergency Management, people like this that are higher up are even telling you, are saying predict it. They can't forecast it. There's no forecast for this. You can't say New Orleans. You can't say Lake Charles. You can't say Dallas, Texas. You can't say Panama City. You cannot say you can predict that it's gonna be there. Yeah, 7 to 11. Could be larger. But yeah, it's all, weather is unpredictable, but you can predict some kind of weather. But you cannot forecast for hurricanes. When people say forecasting, they forecasted a hurricane, it just goes in my head like, I don't know. Some things are confusing. They can only do so much. Let's see. No, the new update is not out. I don't even. We can look at the aircraft. The new update's not going to be out until the aircraft has a drop zone. So now that I got that out, Angie, my name's James, not Jason. But yeah, I've been I'm waiting for the governor. Waiting for the governor. Have the governor update. And I might see if Mississippi. It's okay. I might have see if Mississippi put anything out for their. Okay, Jonathan, we understand. So we're gonna wait for this update, and then I gotta take the DOG out. And then we should have a governor update, hopefully. Tomorrow there might be a video on both TikTok and YouTube. Um, Tomorrow night maybe a stream. I used to do overnight streams and leave the stream on with me not here. But I'm kind of not. I don't like that anymore. That's I don't know. That's not. You guys come and watch a YouTube channel to interact with the YouTuber, not to come watch some stream that is playing music or like I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I just I'm unless I find public cameras, I ain't putting cameras up. If I find pictures on Twitter or something and you guys send me pictures, heck, I'll put them up. But unless you send me a link to a public camera that is on the internet, not on an app, not on it's got to be on the internet. You got to find the link on the internet. But if you're a new subscriber, or you're new to this channel, make sure you guys hit that like button. It means a lot to me. I've been going through some personal stuff, so I kind of like I didn't drop YouTube, but I kind of put it in the back. I still next month I go see a doctor. I won't. I'm not gonna explain too much, but I go see a doctor for myself for the situation. So hopefully by the end of the year we're back. Next year, hopefully severe weather season, I'm back full force. This year there were so many tornado watches that I missed, and you know what? Um, I gotta take care of myself, but I want everybody to be safe. And this will be the first hurricane that makes landfall in the United States, by the way. I thought Henri was going to be the first hurricane. but it didn't. It was a hurricane, but it didn't make landfall as a hurricane. So, Angie, I'll look at all your messages in a little bit. Not saying. Yeah. If you look right here, tornado forecasted tornado threat with Ida. This is probably gonna be a 5% on Storm Prediction Center. By the way, I don't know if you guys are aware, we're not going to see much more of the core development besides that one. It's not. It's till it passes the Cuba, Western Cuba. We're not going to see. we're not going to see much. All 5 p.m. update, I think, is out. Yep, 5 p.m. update is out. It's 80 mph maximum sustained winds, 45 miles northwest of the Isle of Youth, 90 miles southwest of Havana, Cuba. So, hurricane warnings have been issued for Louisiana. There we go. Hurricane warnings. So, Angie, you are in a hurricane warning. Major hurricane, they're saying, at 2 p.m. tomorrow. It is traveling at 15 miles per hour. Just wait until it gets over Cuba. That's when it's going to start to pick up speed. So the metropolitan New Orleans is in no, Alexandria is not in a hurricane. What parish? You know, a couple years ago they did warnings 48 hours ahead, like tropical storm warnings. I don't know when they switched it. It'd be a couple years ago. Steady to rapid strengthening is expected when Ida moves over the southeastern and central Gulf of Mexico over the weekend. Morgan City, Louisiana to the mouth of Mississippi, 10 to 15 feet. That is. That's right here. 10 to 15 feet. there's a chance, but it's I think it's gonna stay on that eastern edge. I really do. I really think it's gonna stay on that eastern edge. And if the mouth of Mississippi River um gets what they predict 10 to 15 inches or storm surge, that's not going to be good. That will not be good. I don't know if you guys know anything about the Mississippi River, but Mississippi River, that that's going to push a lot of water into up the Mississippi, and it's going to affect millions, millions of people. Everybody in the Mississippi state of Mississippi, will affect millions of people. People that live by Mississippi River. I don't know how far it would go up. It depends how fast it comes in, but it's it's probably gonna go long. That's gonna be a rough deal, and a lot of flooding. Mississippi River, that's a dirty river. I don't know. Any of you guys live close to Mississippi River? Angie, you might live close to Mississippi. Beautiful Mississippi River. It's so dirty. That river's so dirty. I do know Baton Rouge. It goes right through Baton Rouge. Yeah. So yeah, up where I live, there's flooding, a lot of flooding, usually after winter. But we're in severe drought, so we don't have to worry about probably that for the next 5 years. Um, the Red River flows north into Canada. That, but we have I don't know. You want to call it? You want to be politically correct? It's considered a dike, but politically correct, it would be a levee. But St. Charles, you mean Lake Charles? St. Charles. Oh, I gotta take this call. Hey guys, I'm gonna take Snowflake out, and then I will be right back. Okay. We're just waiting for the 4:30 meeting with stream with the governor, the updated, and then we will probably um we'll probably end it there, and you know, tomorrow night we may look at it differently. There's already Pamela. There's already a mandatory evac. So yeah, I will make sure that I will likely be. I put out a video tomorrow on both TikTok and YouTube. Um, and then live stream will likely be tomorrow. Like, stay tuned. If you're not in my Discord, join my Discord. Stay tuned in there. You can. That's how you can contact me. If you have Instagram, James the Weatherman. I don't usually check that much, but if something you need, message or email jamesweatherman@gmail.com. But I prefer that you go to the Discord and you just put it in general, and I will try to do as much as I can to. But I'm going to try streaming, live streaming, um, this hurricane. But the question is when. I think tomorrow I'm going to make a video. Tomorrow night is when I might stream, or Sunday early morning. We'll we'll look at the size of it. If we're already getting bands, like heavy bands, um, constant bands. If we're already getting those Saturday night, I might. I don't know. It's gonna be over water and over the Gulf in like probably 5 hours, 6 hours. Be in the Gulf by midnight. It'll be in the Gulf. But we got to remember it's going over land now. Um, so when it gets into the Gulf, it's not going to be. There's going to be a lot of collapsed thunderstorms, but it's still going to be a hurricane. 100%, it'll still be a hurricane. Um, so we will, and then we'll likely have. Actually, let's see. It looks like I'm gonna look at something. Now take this a grain of salt, okay? I want You guys got to take this with a grain of salt. We're going to look at the intensity guidance, okay? But this says nothing. Take this as a grain of salt because we're still kind of in the. So there's one model that's still showing high Cat 4. Okay? That's grain of salt. Take that as a grain of salt because that basically means nothing. Could be stronger, could be weaker. Jay, there's a lot of people on social medias, on YouTube, that's going to say that. Now, am I saying they're wrong? No, they can have their own opinion. They can predict what they want to predict. Prepare for the worst and hope for the best. So, prepare for a Cat 4 or a Cat 5. Prepare for that and hope that it's not that bad. If that makes sense. And I'm saying that people can say whatever they want. Prepare for the worst and hope for the best. No, Cat 5 is not out of the woods. But it very well could be a Cat 3. Very well could be a Cat 3. There's a pretty good chance, like 95% chance it's going to be a Cat 3. You go into the Cat 4, probably, I don't know, 60%. Cat 5, probably like 30%. That's why I said, whatever this cat is, whatever category this is, it doesn't matter. You need to prepare for the worst and hope for the best. Don't even think about category. That's going to be a new thing. Don't think about a category. What I say about tornadoes. Don't think about the EF1, EF2, EF3, EF4, EF5. Don't think about that. It's a tornado. This is a hurricane. Don't think about Cat 1, Cat 2, Cat 3, Cat 4, or Cat 5. So that's going to be a new thing. The hurricane, prepare yourself. Those people that say Cat 5, some of those are doing it for views. But I'm saying prepare for the worst and hope for the best. So if you want to look at the categories, prepare for the worst. What would the worst be? The worst would be the top. Best would be the bottom. So prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And if you're in those areas, you need to get out of there. Like, you need to pack up tonight and leave tomorrow morning. Like, don't wait till tomorrow afternoon. Like, you need to leave tomorrow morning. No later. Yeah. Yeah, but a lot of, you know, this day and age, Jay, you're in Louisiana, yes. I would always, would I say Alexandria evacuate? No. but you should always be packed. You should always have a something ready. I don't care where you are. If you're on the Gulf Coast or in the Atlantic, you should always have something ready. And I really, really, really want you guys to watch your local news. It's kind of why I'm like hindering not live, because I'd rather you not focus on a YouTube live stream with chat um, than people that live in your area, like news stations, your weather service. They know more about anything, any other YouTuber, unless they live in Louisiana. They know way more. Angie, yeah, they just issued a hurricane warning and a storm surge warning. But it's just YouTubers. I could be if there's something going on in North Dakota, I could cover it because I'm from North Dakota. If there's something going on in New York, the person can cover it. If there's something going on in Washington, they can cover it. If something's going on in Florida, the people in Florida can cover it. YouTubers can only say so much. They don't know the environment. They don't know there's this tall building that I would stay away from. I wouldn't go to Bourbon Street in New Orleans. I wouldn't. I can tell you that much. Wouldn't be outside. Yeah. Well, I'd hope so, but I'm just trying to set an example. I don't know Louisiana, like the people at your weather station, your news. So if I'm live streaming, telling you, hey, the only thing I can really tell you is, hey, there's a hurricane coming, and I suggest to leave. It's the only thing I can really tell you. I can show you models, but guess what? They're showing you the same thing. The people that live there are showing you the same thing on news. Well, Jonathan, we're not really paying attention to that. We're okay. I will be right back. Okay, just keep watching this. Whether or not we're waiting for that.
Please everyone, stay safe, and evacuate as early as you can.
Right. Okay. Thank you for the 5, and you're exactly right. Kate, I'm gonna be honest with you. You're the first person to super chat this year. Pretty sure you're the first. So thank you, Kate. You didn't have to do that, but thank you. I will be right back. We'll talk more when I get back. So all the new people that are in here, welcome. I'm James the Weatherman. We're going to be back with the governor's announcements at 4:30, and we'll talk a little bit more. We're going to look at more models, forecast models. We'll look at a few that are coming up with the 18. I think it's the whatever's the I think it's 18 or 12. I don't know. But make sure you like this stream. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that bell notification, and I will be right back. Okie dokie. Stay tuned. I'll be back. Hey, you guys. So you guys got any questions for me? Any questions for me? Jay, like I said earlier, we're not talking about categories. It's just something that I think shouldn't be talked about. How far inland do you think may have impacts on? So everything in red. I don't know how many miles in this is, but everything in red, you're likely going to get water. I would even say Baton Rouge. Um, Definitely if the water it pushes up from Mississippi River, the mouth of Mississippi. Um, New Orleans is going to get water. Let's see what these guys have. They don't have an update yet. Let's see. They're showing 48 hours is going to be 140 miles per hour. Yeah, no problem. Make sure you guys like this stream. Uh, you know what was great, Heather and Sage, about that? Well, it wasn't great, but you know what was? It wasn't. It was. You see no streamer on YouTube. Um, that was during Henri. You see nobody uh talking about Tennessee. You know, there was oh yeah, there was one. There's a kid weatherman. He has to be like 10 or 11 or 12 or something. He streams with his dad. Um, they're not like very. They don't have a lot of followers, but I found them through TikTok, and they were talking about it. But no, everybody was focused on Hurricane Henri. But this little kid and his dad, they were talking about Tennessee. I actually think they might live in Tennessee. I don't know. They have the accent of Tennessee or somewhere south. But every big streamer that was live streaming, they're not even big. There's no weather streamers that are big, but other streamer that has followers on YouTube or on Facebook, we're not even talking about Tennessee. They probably knew it, but they didn't. What up, Zork? Yeah, that's a lot of rain, a lot of water, a lot of water. Oh, I'm missing probably the governor talking. Oh, he's not talking. That sounds about right. Governor saying 4:30. Sounds about right. Prepare for the worst and hope for the best. The governor's really showing um, how governors act. Oh, yeah, I'd be out of there. I'd be out of there. If I was in Louisiana, I would have packed up and I'd have been out of there. Oh, here.
I'll give you the latest update on Hurricane Ida. Dr. Joe Canner with the Louisiana Department of Health will speak in a minute on COVID and health considerations as we prepare for and respond to this hurricane. We also have on hand today Chip Klein with the CPRA, General Keith Waddell of the Louisiana National Guard, Colonel Lamar Davis
You guys hear him?
with the Louisiana State Police, and also Secretary Jack Monisset with the Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, and Jim Wascom with GOSEP. And they will be available at the end of the presentation in order to take any questions that you might want to direct to them. I want to start by acknowledging that today is the one-year anniversary of Hurricane Laura. And while much progress has been made, there's still a long road of recovery left as it relates to the recovery from Hurricane Laura, particularly in southwest Louisiana. And here we are today faced with another storm setting its sights on Louisiana, this time southeast Louisiana. We have some very significant updates for you. What I can tell you is Hurricane Ida is rapidly intensifying, and the situation is changing, it seems, by the hour. We now believe that there is a strong likelihood that this will be a Category 4 hurricane at landfall. That's how quickly the storm is developing. I can tell you that I had an opportunity a short while ago to speak with the National Hurricane Center, Ken Graham, and he indicated that the storm is sort of ahead of schedule, meaning they had projected it would be at a certain strength at a certain time, and is beating those projections. And what this means is the rapid intensification is happening. As was expected, it's just happening to a greater degree, or at least faster than expected. So we have a very serious situation on our hands, and it's important that everyone take advantage of all the opportunities that you have, all the time that you have to adequately prepare yourself and your family, and make sure that you stay calm and that you do those things that are required to put you and your family in the best possible position to successfully weather the storm. Hurricane Ida is presently projected to make landfall somewhere between Terrebonne and St. Mary parishes on Sunday evening. By tomorrow night, tropical storm force winds will begin to move onto the coast of Louisiana. And so the next 24 hours are very, very important. Now is the time to finish your preparations, and I want to encourage everyone to understand that by nightfall tomorrow night, you need to be where you intend to ride out the storm, and you need to be postured as you would want to be as that storm approaches you. Make sure that you're paying attention to your family, to your pets, to elderly loved ones and neighbors. Last night I was able to send a letter to President Biden requesting a pre-landfall federal emergency declaration. I'm very pleased to announce that he approved it earlier today, and we are very grateful for the fact that he approved it, and he did so very quickly. I was able to speak to the President just a few moments ago, and I will tell you, I was able to thank him personally, but this declaration is a key part of us being able to respond to Hurricane Ida and really to prepare in advance of landfall. Yesterday, as you all probably know, I also issued a state of emergency declaration for the state of Louisiana. And so both my declaration and the federal declaration issued by the President are for the entire state of Louisiana. As it happens, yesterday I was in Lake Charles with Administrator Criswell of FEMA at the time that we received the weather briefing, 10 o'clock yesterday morning, which was the first time that we really received notice of a forecasted storm that could be a hurricane when it hit Louisiana, and we were able to start our coordinations and communications at that time. Earlier today I was with Health and Human Services Secretary Becerra in New Orleans as well, and able to thank him for his disaster medical assistance teams and all of the assets that they had previously sent to Louisiana with respect to the COVID emergency that are going to be much more important now, that they're going to continue to work in their capacity as COVID, but as this storm develops. And then there are additional HHS resources that are being brought to bear right now as it relates to the storm. So I had an opportunity to coordinate with him as well. At this time, I'm going to ask Ben of the National Weather Service to come up and give us all the latest on what is a very serious storm. And then I will come back up and give some additional remarks after that, and we will take questions as well. Ben? Oh, there you are.
Thank you, Governor. Good afternoon, everyone. Hurricane Ida has quickly developed into a hurricane way ahead of schedule, just like the Governor had mentioned. Right now, all forecasts tend to look at that it will be a pretty strong Category 4 when it makes landfall on the coast of Louisiana sometime on Sunday afternoon or evening. At that time, it's possible that we could have sustained winds getting close to 140 miles per hour with wind gusts close to or in excess of 170 miles per hour. This is stronger than Laura from last year. This will be a life-altering storm for those who aren't prepared and ready to take what Ida is going to throw at us later this weekend. As you can see on the track here, it's going to be crossing across a pristine environmental conditions for a hurricane to continue to develop, if not rapidly develop, which is why we're pretty confident about the Category 4 forecast moving forward for landfall on Sunday. As the governor mentioned, it looks to hit somewhere there close to the central portion of the coastline and then work its way into the central portion of the state. This is where I think we can remember a little bit about also what Laura did, because I think we'll see some similar conditions here, where when you have a storm moving at around 15 or so miles per hour directly into the center of the state, you are going to have a significant large path of wind damage, trees down, power outages, and concerns from that wind over 100 miles per hour working way inland. And I'll show some graphics to give the exact extent of that kind of push of the wind later on. There are multiple other threats with this storm. A lot of folks will focus on the category, and they should in this case, with it being a Category 4. It does have, obviously a significant wind threat, but there are other significant threats that are life-threatening as well, and I'll kind of work my way through some of those through the rest of the briefing here. As the governor mentioned, this is the earliest time that we expect to see the beginning of conditions starting to deteriorate. If you notice on the graphic there, it shows it being somewhere late Saturday night into early Sunday morning, spreading into the state. The color part of the graphic there is the percentage that we will see tropical storm force winds. As you can see, almost all of southern and southeastern Louisiana are in excess of 70 or 80% chance for tropical storm winds at least. So this is definitely something for everyone to prepare for. I show this graphic here also to try to remove the I'm only interested in the center line part of the discussion. Again, the impacts on these storms can happen way away from the center and from the eye of this storm. And everyone must understand that and make sure you're prepared for what those impacts may be depending on where you are compared to the center line movement of the storm. Unfortunately, with the time of the new graphics just coming out, I have this just clipped, unfortunately, for southeast Louisiana, but there are hurricane warnings across almost all of southern Louisiana. And you can see some tropical storm just outside the state in Mississippi. The hurricane warnings do extend along the coast just a little bit further to the west, so I apologize for the graphic not showing it there. But it is time for people to start taking action. We are within just that last 24 to 36 hours at most before we're going to see tropical storm force winds taking over most of southern and southeastern Louisiana. When I was talking earlier about the wind threat and how far inland that it can push, everywhere in the purple is what we consider a potential for 110 mile per hour winds. So I want everybody to kind of get a feel for how far inland. That takes us all the way in to southwest Mississippi. So with the speed of the storm coming in and its strength being a fairly strong Category 4, it is possible that we could have winds in excess of 100 miles per hour push all the way from the coast all the way into Mississippi and portions of central Louisiana. And that is something that everybody, including Baton Rouge, Lafayette, you need to be prepared for that possibility this weekend. As you move a little bit further to the east, North Shore area of the New Orleans area there, Covington, Mandeville, Slidell, it's still possible you could see winds gusting from 74 up to over 100 miles per hour. Again, you do not have to be near the center of this storm to have significant impacts. Winds of 100 miles per hour will do significant damage to both trees and possibly the power grid for exposed lines. So for those who are in those areas, I would definitely consider in this time left to make sure that you have consideration for what you would do if you were without power as we move later on in the weekend. Surge is another devastating threat. It's probably one of the number one killers when it comes to hurricanes and straw hurricanes. So across most of the southern and the southeastern portions of the coastline, we're talking about extreme surge. 10 to 15 feet surge possible from the mouth of Mississippi west to about Morgan City. From Morgan City to Intercoastal City, just a little bit less of that, roughly around 6 to 9, and then 3 to 5 to the Texas line. As you go the other way and you work your way from the eastern portion of the mouth and wrap around the boot up towards the tidal lakes, you can see 7 to 11 on the boot portion of the Louisiana coast, and then in the tidal lakes 4 to 7. So again, the extent of the impacts are going to be far away from where this makes landfall. So for anyone with coastal interests, understand that you will see a significant amount of water move in. And depending on how large the wind field grows to and the movement and speed, these numbers may increase as we move a little bit closer to the storm making landfall. So that is definitely something for folks to watch, because higher amounts like that obviously will bring a much larger amount of risk, especially possible in the tidal lakes area where there may not be a full levee system for everybody to be protected. Rainfall is another huge issue with this storm. We're talking 10 to 15 inches of rainfall over a large portion of southeastern Louisiana. There may be pockets of 15 to 20 plus, depending on the speed and location of these bands setting up. With the rainfall that we're expecting today, that happened already today, and tomorrow, on top of the effects from Ida itself, there could be significant inland river flooding. And so with that, everywhere that you see the purple there across southeast Louisiana is where we're looking for the possibility of extreme flooding to occur. This is right on the edge of the city of New Orleans, so obviously we could have some water problems there, and that'll be something we'll have to consider as well as things set up. But I just want to highlight again that it's not just the wind threat here that could do most of the devastation. It's the water threat that's usually one that ends up being the biggest killer. And unfortunately, a lot of people tend to try to move around when they start to get worried or scared as the storm starts to come in. And this is probably the worst time to move, especially with this coming in on Sunday evening, Sunday night. As you go in the nighttime, you do not want to be trying to drive around when we're seeing heavy rains that could be creating all sorts of river or flooding that could cause your car to go off the road and into water, and then unfortunately put you at severe risk for loss of life. So just a quick overview of the threats here. The confidence is fairly high on the track. The track really hasn't budged for the last day or two. We are becoming more and more certain when it comes to the intensity. That Cat 4 at landfall looks pretty much like it's a really solid forecast now. And with that, all the threats of a very large storm with a little bit larger wind field are in play with the surge and the heavy rainfall. The one other thing that I did not mention is the possibility of tornadoes as well. And so as this comes on shore, especially on the eastern side of the shore, which will encompass much of southeast Louisiana and portions of coastal Mississippi and southwest Mississippi, they'll be under the gun for possible tornadic spin-ups, which is very normal for landfalling hurricanes. So there are multiple threats. There are multiple things for people to be watching and keeping their eye on and making sure that they're prepared for. Because, again, I'll start off with the same comment that I started with, I believe, unfortunately, this is going to be a life-altering storm for many people. And so the actions that you do now are what can prepare you to make sure that you can successfully navigate what Ida is going to throw at us. With that, thank you.
Thank you, Ben. And I don't know about you, but that's a very sobering assessment of what we can expect with Hurricane Ida. And I guess the biggest challenge is not just the strength of the storm, but how quickly it is approaching after its initial formation. And we don't have the normal time that we typically have in order to prepare for a hurricane of this magnitude, and that's why it's important that everybody take advantage of every minute that you have. We have announced that state offices in 38 parishes will be closed on Saturday, August the 28th through Monday, August the 30th. And we may be announcing additional closures on Sunday, but we know these will be closed Saturday through Monday. And I'm going to go through those for just a minute. Acadia, Allen, Assumption, Avoyelles, Beauregard, Calcasieu, Cameron, East Baton Rouge, East Feliciana, Evangeline, Iberia, Iberville, Jefferson Davis, Jefferson, Lafayette, Lafourche, Livingston, Orleans, Plaquemines, Point Capee, Rapides, St. Bernard, St. Charles, St. Helena, St. James, St. John the Baptist, St. Landry, St. Martin, St. Mary, St. Tammany, Tangipahoa, Terrebonne, Vermilion, Vernon, Washington, West Baton Rouge, and West Feliciana. I want to remind everyone, please do not drive once conditions deteriorate. That's why it's important that you do everything possible in advance and get to the place where you want to ride out the storm. If for some reason you absolutely have to get on the road, make sure that you are mindful of debris, downed power lines, and flooded roadways. Do not drive around DOTD barricades. And if you see standing water, please turn around. Don't drown. I encourage you to use 511la.org or the 511LA app to see what state routes are open or closed because of the weather or other causes. And if necessary, find alternate routes before you actually get underway. DOTD also partners with Google Maps and Waze, which are also travel resources that are especially beneficial in times like these. The CPRA is tracking 692 gates across the coastal zone. As of earlier today, a total of 182 of those are closed. We are anticipating the full closure of major floodgates in the hurricane risk reduction system around the greater New Orleans area, the Morganza to the Gulf, and the LaRose to Golden Meadow. We are aware of voluntary and or mandatory evacuations in 5 parishes. These orders differ depending upon where you live in the parish. So if you live in Jefferson, Lafourche, Orleans, Plaquemines, or Tangipahoa, please refer to your local officials for instructions on evacuations. And whoever you are, and wherever you live or wherever you happen to be, make sure you're paying close attention to your local officials, especially the offices of emergency preparedness and parish presidents and so forth, and follow their guidance. Currently, the Louisiana National Guard has over 1,600 guardsmen on duty preparing for this hurricane, but also doing all of their normal COVID operations as well. I've authorized General Waddell to activate the entirety of the Louisiana National Guard. There will be more than 5,000 soldiers available to respond. Search and rescue assets are currently staged in 13 parishes. We do have 64 high water vehicles, 60 boats, and 13 helicopters ready to support and assist the citizens of Louisiana. The Department of Transportation and Development, led by Secretary Sean Wilson and his team, they've mobilized their high water signs and barricades and other equipment that may be needed to address issues related to the storm. This equipment will be utilized when it is appropriate to do so. Through an existing contract, DOTD currently has more than 70 coach buses and 20 Parrot Transit smaller buses in Louisiana. They are staged at 2 vehicle staging areas, one in the New Orleans area, one in the Lafayette area. By tomorrow morning, we will have a total of 125 buses staged in Louisiana. The majority will be at the New Orleans vehicle staging area. This afternoon, just a little while ago, I did direct that the Saints preseason game with the Cardinals be canceled. Now that we've had update on the weather forecast and the severity of the storm is increasing, and knowing how valuable every minute is for people to be preparing for this storm, I did not believe it was appropriate for there to be an NFL preseason game taking place on Saturday afternoon, knowing that we're asking people by dark tomorrow night or bedtime tomorrow night, however you want to say it, that they be postured and located wherever they need to be and how they need to be to ride out the storm. It's never too early to start talking about post-storm safety as well. And I will remind you that in Hurricane Laura, we actually lost more people after the storm than we did during the storm to things like generator safety because of carbon monoxide poisoning, to people who were using chainsaws and on roofs and that sort of thing, and heat related issues as well. So everyone, please be mindful of this, and there is a very good likelihood that for some period of time, a considerable part of our state will be without power. Not that we're not doing everything we can to make sure that we can respond quickly. I can tell you there are already 5,000 linemen in the state ready to respond and almost 12,000 more postured to come in when they're called. But there's going to be a period of time, if the past is any indication at least, where many Louisianans will be without power. Many of those will rely on generators. Please make sure that you have those located well away from your home, at least 20 feet, not in a crawl space, not next to a window, and certainly not indoors or in a garage. And when you refuel the generator, let it cool off for at least 20 minutes before you do that. Finally, I know that the fact that we're still in a pandemic makes this much more difficult for everyone as we prepare for and respond to this hurricane, but the pandemic isn't going to leave just because it's more inconvenient. And so we just have to deal with it. And I'm going to ask Dr. Cantor to come up. He will briefly go over today's numbers as well as some other safety tips, because as we have, one of the concerns that I have is we're going to have tens or hundreds of thousands of people moving around Louisiana at a time when our percent positivity, although it's improved, it's still well above 10%. There's an awful lot of COVID out there, and transmission remains too high, cases and hospitalizations. And if anybody has been paying attention to the death reports this week, you'll see that we've had some of the highest numbers at any point in the pandemic. And so I'm going to ask him to come up and go.
So, heard there from your governor, their governor. Yeah. Be a lot of rescue teams out there. They're gonna do as best they can, but there's a lot of things going on in life. You can't let your guard down. And Hurricane Ida can add to that issue for residents in Louisiana and Mississippi. So, be prepared. I suggest that you pack up tonight and leave right in the morning. There's going to be a lot of people on the roads, so be prepared for delays. If you get up early in the morning, you should be out of there by the time you need to be. But if you can leave tonight, um, that's a plus. I'd leave tonight if it was me. And you either go east or you go west. I wouldn't go north. My suggestion would be probably going west towards Texas. Get out of Louisiana. Texas loves visitors. No, I would say, Jay, go west. Don't go east. If you want, you can go east, but I wouldn't go east. That's where the tornado threat's gonna be. Yeah, Jay, I would I would go to Texas for sure. I'd go to Texas. I know that's a quite a way from New Orleans, but you know you need to with all the stuff going on, you need to try to do your best. I know a lot of evacuation zones um, are probably not going to be open, and if they are, that's going to be pretty restricted. But you know, I think you do if you have common sense. I think you'll do good, Jay. If you have common sense, because you're pretty far inland, um, you're just gonna have some strong wind and some heavy rain. But common sense that comes into the favor. But know if you want to hold it out and things start going south, it's gonna be pretty hard to leave. It'll be pretty hard to leave. You see those thunderstorms collapsing? Yeah, and Laura Laura was big, definitely on the coast. It's slammed Lake Charles. They didn't say mandatory evacuation. But yeah, I would evacuate. Like, I don't care where you are in Louisiana, in southern Mississippi. I would call a friend up or something that lives north or lives west and be like, hey, can I stay the night? Um, I do know in Mississippi, I don't know about Louisiana, but I do know in Mississippi it is against the law for hotels to price gouge. I think Alabama as well. So hotels, I'm sure, are about the same price, if not cheaper, than knowing that there's a big hurricane. So I don't know about Louisiana. I'm sure Louisiana it's not against the law. Not against the law here. North Dakota. I think price gouging should be against the law everywhere. Everywhere in the United States should make it illegal. So let's check some things out. No. Hey, stop. Hey, so let's see the hurricane. Actually, see recon. Thing goes right over it. So go to my Discord. Discord links in my chat. Discord's free. Go there. I'm actually looking for new Discord mods. We're gonna get talking in there. We're gonna do a lot of weather talking in there. My Discord is all automated. Um, so there's a lot of automation that goes on. Tells you everything. But make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe and hit that bell notification. I'll be giving updates on Twitter, or not Twitter, Discord. And I want. I can't use all my notifications up for. Can't use too much notifications. They only allow 3 in 24 hours. So, um, if you guys subscribe today, it means a lot to me. If you guys like today, it means a lot to me. And I will likely be live streaming tomorrow evening. If not tomorrow evening, I will say in Discord when I'm in a live stream. And I will. Got some stuff I gotta do tomorrow. But just be aware. Oh, you guys want to. You should look at updated. Yeah, this just came out. Perfect. We can look at this before all this. Look at this before. So this is a global forecast system, average every 6 hours. 9:55. Let's do this. Oh man, I can't zoom in on that. This is a global forecast system. They're very little shear. H Wharf has it 9:33. pretty solid that it's where it's gonna go. Pretty solid. Okay, well, Susie, you can rewatch the video or the live stream. But basically, New Orleans needs to evacuate, like, ASAP, like, tonight, preferably. This is gonna be stronger than uh, Laura, and it may be stronger than Katrina. Katrina made landfall at what, high end Cat 3? Um, so, but there's more things put up that, yeah, you know what I mean. I hope everybody has a good day, good rest of your day. And check out my Discord, check out my TikTok, and I will talk with you guys later. Do you guys remember? Always I say, stay weather aware. Much love, you guys.